One love, one love. Love plus art equals wellness. Heart Happy Hour Season 4. We are here live on the way to the beach. I'm trying to sneak in another episode of Heart Happy Hour because, well, I haven't been on the highway as much, and this is like a highway run, so I at least have another 20 minutes on this highway to make it to the beach. And I have been thinking about doing it for the past couple of days, and I got a call that said, hey, let's go to the beach. And I was already in that mindset, so bing, bang, zoom, here we go. All right, so I had something that I needed to talk about, and it came up just yesterday as kind of to tell me what the title or subject of it should be. So I'm really right on time. So I had a conversation with someone that used a term called PolyChronic. And I'd like to talk about that. I'd like to talk about the planets that are in retrograde. And I'd like to talk about, well, whatever else comes up, we'll see what comes up. But I know that I needed to talk about time as it relates to, first off, when I started thinking just a few minutes ago about time, I thought of the word chronos, but then I also thought of the word chronic. Somewhat spelled different, same sort of sounds, which may mean that the word derives from a similar source, but is used in a different energy. So polychronic, as it was explained to me, which it resonated with me, so I did not look it up, and I possibly should have looked it up first. But if somebody can look it up and share with me what it is, then, one love, do that. Otherwise, what I understood it to be was that there were multiple times going on at the same time, meaning multi-dimensions and having different timelines for those dimensions. So it also relates to me in the thought that it makes me think about how you say dog years or tree years, or, like there's ways to tell the age of something, but it's sometimes based on. And so that lets me think about 7 years being equivalent to 1 human year. I believe that there are multiple things that are that way. Now, in addition, I just saw a movie yesterday, or a couple of shows yesterday, where they were, where the clocks. One was, I was watching Loki on Disney Plus, and then I also watched some of Gen V, both Marvel products. And so it turns out, one of those shows, and I believe it was on Loki, there are consequences to crossing timelines, and the possibility to cross timelines. First off, there is the possibility to have multiple timelines, and there is the potential to access those multiple timelines. Otherwise, they would not be, how they say, don't touch yourself, or don't confront yourself if you see your doppelganger, or if you are able to time travel, astral travel, different things that would put you in a different dimension or in a different timeline. And so, of course, these things, I'm sure they have some kernels of truth, and they also have some elements of fantastical imagination. But, if someone were to believe it, because it seems like TVA Time, the Time. Anyway, there was this organization that were the timekeepers, and the timekeepers were going through and fixing things, so that if you did cross over into other timelines, they'd come and they'd catch the person, the group, or the event that triggered their alarm system. Some synchronicities are off. So they come in and then they wipe the minds of those who were involved so that they will go back to the second before the infraction and be able to move forward from there. So the interesting part to that is it also sounds like something similar to, and I don't know how well it compares, but retrograde. So when retrograde happens, and because apparently, or it is said, in our solar system, those planets that we are in sync with, as they all do their whole whatever rotation, circulation, however long it takes them to do a year or a month, because they each have different timelines. And so it seems to me like when a retrograde occurs, and because retrograde is not it moving backwards, it's us moving forward, and it looking like it's moving backward. It's whatever the planet is that's going into retrograde, it actually begins to slow down. It begins to still itself for a period, distance itself for a period, and then once it has, for whatever the reason, it's decided to move forward, so then it will have a slow, not to say take off, but a movement, to begin to move again. And so as it starts to move again and synchronizes again into the rotation of things, and that's the funny part. So I'm saying, if all these planets have all these different let's say speeds, because of its size, it may have a shorter cycle to do a month, or to do a year, or to do whatever the increment of measurement is. But to say all that, to say that we recently had 7 planets that were in retrograde. All of them started at different times. I believe in April was a period of time when all of the planets were considered going direct. I think April the 11th was the date, which is January, February, March, April. Yeah, 4/11. So 4/11/23, the planets were all considered to be in direct. And say, so beyond that, and now at this point, Mercury has gone direct. The others, so there's still 6 that are in retrograde, if I'm not mistaken. 1 or 2 of them within the next day or 2 will be going back into direct as well. So they are, I believe it's in November when they all will be considered back into direct, either November or January. I can't remember exactly. But the way that it appears to me that when we are out of sync with all those other planets that have a particular influence in various energies over this planet, this rock, third rock from the sun, it seems to me that things start getting, there's a lot more give than normal. There's a lot more stickiness. It's sticking in the mud a little bit, before you're actually able to work it and move forward. So it seems to me that, and I felt that recently. I felt that. Now, once Mercury went direct, I was able to, and I'm sorry if I'm not seeing anyone, if I'm not saying hi to folks that are coming up, but I'm trying to watch the road and talk to you at the same time. So as I was saying, I was feeling the stickiness. I was feeling the give. I was feeling the pushback, or the more stern need for, additional pressure, or to apply different angles, or to work things through, to wiggle things. There was a lot of wiggle room going on with a lot of things. I mean, because all of these planets, what they each influence. I know there was Jupiter. Let me see if I can remember this, because I tried to So it's Jupiter, Venus, Pluto, let me see, Saturn, Mercury, Uranus, and two others. So those five planets and two others. I think, did I say Neptune? I know Neptune is in there. And Sun in JVM Sun in. So Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and what was I and N? So in any case, oh shucks. Oh, I have some people behind me, and I just needed to let them know that we are supposed to be turning here. And so, me not paying it so much attention that I needed to pay, it is time to turn and go that way. And so, you're with me, right? You riding along? You riding shotgun today? So, precious mother love plus art equals wellness. We are headed to the beach. We are on the road on the way there and about 30 minutes away. So my bad for not paying attention to you or not paying attention to it. I'm trying to split my attention one way or the other. I did need to talk about this PolyChronic thing because it seems like as these planets are pulling apart or pulling from our synchronistic, chronological, whatever it's called, our solar sync. When they are off and they do influence us, the timing of things may be stretched, or the timing of the energy actually being pulled in, or the timing of the energy being sensed may have a little more cushion to it, or it may even be a bit stronger because you may be recognizing, if your senses recognize. Sorry, darling. Yeah, so I just made a very dangerous turn, but the folks are behind me. So, and I don't know if you can see them behind me very well, but they're riding right behind me. So, the only thing that I wanted to say in addition to that, because I know this is kind of spacey for me to be driving somewhere and, trying to watch the road and trying to watch the folks behind me. There's a lot going on at one time. But so in addition, this is how I say that the retrograde can be considered something of a polychronic scenario, because I think that it adjusts the times of the normal when everything is direct response. So the main thing to me is, let's see, are we turning? It says we're going on to 4 south. Okay, yes, we are turning. Okay, I'm going to have to stop this here. And One Love and Wellness just say the best thing that's possible has been happening, and I will move forward with that. Ashe, One Love and Wellness, Heart Happy Hour Season 4, on the way to the beach. Sorry I can't continue this conversation. Well, to be continued. Ashe.